Big Brother Diary Room.
Every single season and learn everything that there is to know about everybody.
Please make your way to the diary
celebrity, Brandon. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Diary Room, a Big Brother podcast where we're trying to find the best player in Big Brother history. And wow, are we getting so close to the end of the round and the end of the year, 2025, about to be in the rear view mirror. But not just yet. Another episode coming at you today. Mostly BB Can, maybe a little bit of some other stuff sprinkled in. We'll get to that shortly. But of course, I am Matt here first with Aman. Aman, how's it going? Hey. Yes, almost to the end of the year. In holiday season full swing. I finally put my Christmas tree up, so yay.
Can't see it.
It's in the corner. It's off camera, unfortunately. Yeah.
But if a tree's up in Aman's house and we can't see it, does it make a sound? The classic saying.
Yeah, that's how that goes.
Well, who knows? Somebody who definitely doesn't have a Christmas tree up in the background because there's nothing in the background. Yeah, I'm calling that out. Is our guest today, who's back with us in what I believe is pretty confirmed the shortest turnaround time that we've had from the first appearance to the next. But the wheel was so crazy the first time around, we had to rectify it here today. It is Michael, also known as Big Brother Boy. Michael, how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm excited and grateful that you guys asked me to be back. But like you said, I am just hoping that it goes even slightly better than last time because that was a disaster.
I think the funniest part about it is like a lot of people will get a wheel that's like not the most exciting. And they're like, yeah, but we had fun. You were like, this wheel sucks.
I mean, like I had fun and in a way, like I enjoyed getting the people that suck because it's more fun to just like talk shit than necessarily talk about stuff of substance. But like I told my friends, like I got the worst people possible on this. And like they know me as being dramatic and embellishing things. And then they saw the episode and they were like, oh yeah, you got the fucking worst people possible.
It could have been worse. Let me just remind everybody. The first matchup of that episode was BB Can versus BB Can. We'll probably see that today as well for sure. Paul Jackson lost to Brooke from BB Can 8. So, I mean, yeah, not the most exciting, but I still think that other people would have loved to get Poppin' Paul Jackson. You just didn't care. We had Frenchie lost to Ashley Ayoko from BB14, which is still kind of crazy that Ashley's in the next round. But what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
And then Raul from BB Can 4, which actually was a pick that you were excited about. Ended up going through Raul over BB19's Megan Louder. So that was a group of 6 players.
I mean, you had like 3 of some of like the most talked about like bad players, though, I would say. So that's iconic within itself,
Yeah.
It is like definitely stuff to talk about, just nothing good in relation to their games. It was all okay. This person was dumb as fuck on their season, repeat for all 5, and then you had Brooke who was there for like 5 minutes. Like it was hard. It was tough.
I know. I think we talked about when you were here last time that you did. You've done a ranking of, I believe, all BBUS and all BB Can. At least, have you done BB Can? You said no.
I didn't do BB Can. I think I did all US right before 25, so it was like 1 through 24. I believe.
Okay. Is an updated ranking in the works anytime soon?
No, I'm gonna I have one planned, but after BB 30 because I feel like adding 5 is like enough, but like. I don't want to do one where it's just like, oh, like 25, 26, 27. You know what I mean?
It's bold of you to assume that the world as we know it will still be standing in the time of Big Brother 30. But
my God,
I don't know about the world. Hopefully Big Brother will not make it to Big Brother 30. I'll be honest. I don't know if I'm rooting for that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Big Brother is the only thing that survives while the rest of the world just falls apart. So yeah, we'll see. Any teasers of any videos that are in the works? I know that you've been a little busy, I believe, with school and whatnot. So I haven't seen a ton of your stuff lately, but anything coming up?
Yeah, no, I haven't posted since the summer, like BB27 stuff. I am working this week. I'm recording a video ranking the different eras of Big Brother. So going through like subcategorically combining like all the seasons into 4 different eras and then ranking those from 4 to 1 and like talk about which seasons in each era I liked and didn't like and holds them down or lifts them up type of thing. So just like a kind of like unique-ish ranking I'm going to do this week and probably post the week of Christmas. I don't know when this episode's going to go up, but
actually a couple of days from now. Yeah, people are used to us recording like weeks in advance. This is less than 7 days of turnaround time here, so pretty soon.
Okay.
So what are the eras? What are they broken down in your mind?
So how I do it in my mind is you want like the numbers or like the names?
Yeah, numbers.
So I usually do old school from 1 to 7. Personally, I usually include 8 and 9 too, but I know a lot of people don't like that. So I'll do era 1 to 7's old school, and then 8 through 15 I'll do as like the middle era, and then 16 through 22 the modern era, and then 23 on like the new era or like new school.
All right, Aman, what are your rankings of the 4 eras?
Yeah, I mean, I think I feel kind of similarly. I would say, ooh. Oh my God. Okay, hold on. Okay. I would just say 1 is its own thing, right? And then I would say 2 through 7 is sort of like classic Big Brother. And then I'd say 8 through 13, maybe 14 is sort of like, what's a good
I like
word?
how you are. I don't know. I think you're reworking my question.
Oh, am I?
I was trying to get your rankings of the eras that Michael laid out. Like, what order would you put them in?
Oh,
but if you want to finish answering it your way, that's fine too.
No, that's a much easier question to answer. Rankings of, I would probably say, it's like a toss up between modern and, what did you say was 8 through 15? What did you call that?
8 through 15, I say is the like just the middle era or like middle
era.
Please put modern era last. Like modern is horrible.
But there are some good gems in there though. That's why I'm like,
which one? Which one's a gem in the modern era?
I mean, I think that 20 is good. I think that I enjoy 23. It is a little
17
boring.
Gets a lot of love from a lot of different corners.
Enjoy. 18 is one of my favorite seasons. So like, yeah, like I like
3 in there, 3-ish, 4.
Yeah, I like them. Okay, but if I really had, I mean, but there are such duds in the middle one too. Like I'm like, ugh, like
which one in the middle one besides like maybe 9 and 12?
I don't like 9.
I mean 15.
15
okay, we're
horrible
watch. I thought you did 14.
14 is kind of
You have 8, 10, 11, 13. A lot of people like 14. I don't like 14, but like I feel like the middle has the big hitters.
I think I have to go.
I mean, if I was ranking myself, I'll ask myself the question. I'd have to go era 1. The early, the OGs is like that's where I love to hit on a rewatch. Like I love to just, especially because I wasn't there in real time. So just like I yearn for having been there. So that's easily number 1. It might almost just go in order because I do think that the middle era is probably next. That 10, 8, 12, like those alone, and then a lot of aspects of 13, just with some of what's going on with the returnees, just seeing Rachel and Brendan back, especially now. I feel like I have even more of an appreciation for that season in hindsight. 14 is a crazy season, and then when it comes down to 16 through 20, would you say 22 and 23 onward? 23 onward has been very interesting. I mean, the story of Taylor Hale in 24, 25, just having Suri and it's like, it's not my favorite season, but there's still a lot of stuff to care about there. And then 26 and 27 have been pretty interesting stories all the way through. So I probably would be inclined to say that the current era is a little bit better from than 16 through 22. But there's still room for them to mess that up. And they're trying. They tried throughout 27 to mess that up, but they didn't win because of duo named Vorgan.
Yeah, it stuck the landing.
And Rachel.
So
yeah,
which always improves the average of the season.
Which, by the way, drama.
And for the first time, I've been so tuned out that I have literally no clue what's going on. I don't know who I should be standing and who I should be hating. I'm just like, oh, y'all fighting still? Okay.
we're doing a Patreon episode after this, so maybe we'll save some more of that discussion for there and see what because we're going to be live for that one. We'll see what people have to say about all the latest drama there. But let's get to the wheel. Are we ready to pull 6 players today? And really hoping that they're better picks for Michael, so he doesn't just tell us he's never coming back.
Yes, fingers crossed, knocking on wood. Everything shall be good this time around.
And I will say, Michael, I know a player that you have some sort of an attachment to is Hardy, because you've interviewed him. And Hardy, I can't remember when the episode came out or whatever, but Hardy is in round 2. He has won his matchup since we last spoke.
Who was on the podcast and who was Hardy against?
Hardy was up against Big Brother celebrities Ryan Lochte, and Lavina was here with us to vote him through. So Hardy won that one pretty easily.
Okay, that's good. Glad to hear it.
We've also, since we last spoke, Dan Giesling has come up and obviously made it through, but he did not go up against Will Kirby, as many were predicting might be the case.
Who did he go up against?
Big Brother 3's Lori. First move.
Oh, that's a tough one.
It is. These guys know some of these like big names know that they're gonna have tougher battles ahead of them, and so they manifest their own easy matchups just to get things going.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Definitely.
Today, generally scheduled to be a BB Can only episode, but maybe a little bit of a twist here, right before the holidays, maybe a little bit of a treat of maybe some OTT or maybe a couple of celebrities might come up along the way. You can read the wheel. It's pretty small. We are getting so close. There's not many names left, but let's see what happens just when we cross streams a little bit,
Yes.
Let's
see.
All right, let's do it. Looking for some better names here today. And we're going to get things started with
Okay.
That's an all-star right there. Bruno Aiello.
Yeah. I keep thinking that we've already done him, but just that he's been on the show and he pops up in yeah. I know.
Bruno, Big Brother Canada 3, Big Brother Canada 5, a very big name from the franchise that once was. The franchise, that is, not the player. So
every so often I forget that it's canceled, that it's not coming back, and then I remember and I'm like, oh shit, wow.
Yeah, I know.
It's crazy.
They say we don't talk about Bruno, but I think we're supposed to talk about Bruno. But
very funny.
Thank you.
Very funny. All right, Bruno. In BB Can 3, Bruno surrounded himself around big targets such as Greg, Bobby, and Zach. Bruno is noted for his under-the-radar manipulation of his allies and his use of targeted players as shields, but was also prone to paranoia and scrambling whenever a close ally was in jeopardy, a flaw that led to his downfall. Bruno lost after a heated argument with Sarah and Brittany. Brittany won a coup d'etat power and overthrew Ashley's nominations. Bruno was evicted in a 4-0 vote. He returned in BB Can 5, bonding with Kevin, Dylan, and Dimitri. Being a part of the Core 6 alliance kept him safe until jury. After Netta and Cindy left, he found himself targeted. In week 7, he was nominated as a pawn against Kevin. However, after William used the secret POV on Kevin, Bruno became the main target. He was evicted in a 5-0 vote.
Bruno has done a lot of good things in Big Brother in his games. He has been very effective at so many different times, but I think it's a very complex style of game that he plays that has ultimately landed him evicted in the same spot. And I think my take when I was watching him when he was on his season was I feel like that's where he finishes more often than not. While he has the ability that you're like, oh, this guy should be able to go really far and get to the end, there's just like something about the way that everyone perceives him and knows how smart he is that they stop him in his tracks. But I will say, with all that game aside, Michael, I don't know if this is the same for you or for you, Aman, but when I think of Bruno, the first thing that comes to mind is the video, the gif of him kicking the bag in one of the bedrooms when he was so frustrated. I don't even remember which season it was.
I think it was 5.
We can all picture it, right?
Yes.
I remember
He
it.
kicked the shit out of that bag. He was so pissed.
I'm pretty sure it was 5. I think it was right after the whole Netta thing.
I think,
Because
yeah, that sounds
his
correct.
whole game had just like everything was up in the air now.
Yeah.
And I get that frustration. And I think Bruno is a pretty misunderstood player. I think he's not really like a strategy mastermind, although that's where his game kind of leans more towards. He's not exactly a physical comp beast. And he's not really like everybody's best friend in the house either. He's sort of more of like an instinctual, situational player. He kind of like reacts to what he believes is like probably like the best way to go in the moment. I think that he, I think, what the blurb said is kind of very like appropriate in that he is sort of like, he's like an enforcer. Like he's the one that's like really loyal to like the whole group. But as long as you guys are in front of me, I'm good. But like, I'm with you, but I'm with you over here. Like he's like one of those kind of players, which can be, it can help you stay under the radar for a pretty long period of time. But, if the cracks start to show and the targets that you have placed in front of you actually do go, I think he hasn't really done a lot of like, okay, let me make sure that I'm really insulating myself socially as well and not just physically. And I think, like you said, Matt, that's kind of like where he falls, is like once he's exposed and there's nowhere really for him to run. But I think has a pretty strong game sense, and I think that he's pretty well rounded. I just think that he just needs a little more of a social game, if that makes sense.
On the flip side, Michael, you have a video on your channel. I have pulled up on another tab, ranking every hot mom from Big Brother. Where's the ranking? Yeah, don't go away. Where's the DILF ranking?
I didn't know that was that. I needed to watch that.
So the DILFs video was planned. I don't know why you're bringing this up when we're talking about Bruno. A little bit. But it was planned. I forget what happened. I think I might have, I wanted to post it for Father's Day, but I think I was doing something around Father's Day. So it, kind of defeated the purpose. So I was like, I'll come back to it eventually. But, I was planning to make one, but we'll get there.
I truly appreciate your corner of Big Brother YouTube that is a little bit different from the perspective that
more
Ethan or Peridium can offer us.
Yeah, it's a little definitely out there.
Anyway, where do you sit with Bruno in Big Brother history?
So I have a lot to say about Bruno. I actually really love Bruno, and with a lot of the Big Brother Canada alumni, I love them a lot more than the US ones typically, but Bruno is a case where I did not enjoy watching him on 5 or 3, was never rooting for him, and I sort of more like to hear him after the show in interviews and podcasts talking about his experience, and I like how involved he is in the community. My first thing, just briefly touching on when we think of Bruno, mine was that weird ass, I think it was a veto in Big Brother Canada 3 where they had to shoot the targets with a gun, and his whole plotline in the DR was I'm a sniper because I'm a competitive video game. And that just really bugged me about Bruno's, how we would always talk about being a gamer. I know that's super niche, but that's what I think about with him. That's something that always just bugged me. But in terms of his actual games, I agree with everything you guys have said, but I think I'm a little bit higher on Bruno. To me, he's somebody who's always going to start off the game, I feel, in a majority of lines, because I think he does typically have an above average social game. Everybody really likes Bruno, at least early on in the game, before they sort of realize he is kind of smart and covered and fake as shit, and he has his ass covered everywhere. I feel like that's what happened both times with the Chop Shop in Big Brother Canada 3, and then what were they called in Big Brother Canada 5? Just the veterans and Dimitri,
the core 6, I think.
The core 6, yeah. Everybody really likes Bruno and thinks they can count on him as a number. And then once the game plays out and they see he is kind of being fake with everybody, I feel like he kind of isn't really good at masking what he's doing. But I will say, I think he is underrated, and I feel like a lot of that comes from the moves he made weren't really popular with the fans. So I feel like people sort of look at it as a bad move. Kind of think of something remember Cliff in Big Brother 21, where he, whatever it was, saved Grateful or Jackson that one week, or made a deal with them, and everybody was saying it was a horrible move, but Taryn was defending it, saying it's not a favorable move for the fans, but it is the right move. I kind of look at that as somebody with Bruno. I think specifically in Big Brother Canada 3, when he saved Zach with the power veto, everybody was furious and we're like, what were you doing? But his whole logic behind it was he was worried about the girls sticking together. And honestly, if Willow had stayed, it would be Willow, Sarah, Brittany, Godfrey, and they were working with Bruno. I do want to say, like, it was like he was betraying his alliance, but had Zach left, Willow stayed, and that played out. I think he's absolutely correct. And the order would have been his ass on the line first to go in that sort of 5. So I do see why he made that move. And I do think it was the correct read to be worried about the women and Godfrey, but I just don't necessarily like how he went about it and blowing up his spot, blowing up at Sarah. And then even something like Big Brother Kiss. Sorry, I'm going on like a long sweep.
No,
I
keep
don't
going.
have a lot to say about Bruno. Big Brother Canada 5, it's the same thing. He worked with the core 6. Like I said, everybody trusted Bruno. He was insulated very well. I kind of credit that to having a good social game. But then people like Ika and Dimitri figuring out this guy's sketchy, Dre and William as well. I think he's correct, and he went with Netta and Kevin and Cindy and decided that he can't trust Ika and Demetrius, which is correct because they got closer to the William and Dre side of the house. But then how he navigated Dre, Ika, William, Demetrius, I don't think was very well. So I think he does have good reads, like with the Zach thing in Big Brother Canada 3 and with the Big Brother Canada 5 with Ika and Dimitri. He just doesn't translate that into very smart game decisions or social game decisions. I think he needs to be more low key and subtle, and he just shows his hand way too much of the time. But like, even in it's so hard with Big Brother Canada because there's so many variables in each season where it's like this person's evicted or in danger, but there's also a million like weird twists that have been involved that are not typical variables. Where it's like in Big Brother Canada 5, how well do we think he would have done if he wasn't evicted because of the secret veto because of William? Like, I could have seen him going far because once Kevin leaves, people are going to be like, oh, like Bruno's not really a threat. His number one ally just left. He doesn't really have any allies anymore. And I think he could have like coasted to the end going under the radar. So all that being said, I do think he's underrated. I think he's really well-rounded in terms of every aspect of the game. And honestly, like evicted circumstantially in 5, where I don't necessarily think I agree when we say that he probably places the same in every season. So I don't know. That's what I have to say.
The eviction, of course, in BB Can 5 comes after a move is made by his close ally, Cindy, who that's not a move he agrees with. Like, he wants to stop it, but recognizes there's nothing he can do. Cindy's already gone down this line of, I want to get Netta out. If not for that, if it's still Netta and Cindy and Bruno and Kevin staying together a little deeper into the season, Bruno and Kevin probably make it deeper together, at which point, who knows how Bruno's ever, going to fare up against Kevin and all the comp wins that Kevin's still going to get along the way. Is Kevin going to cut Bruno? The relationship that they had is so interesting coming from 3 to 5 because they weren't like super close and super friendly. I don't even know if they liked each other much on BB Can 3. I don't think they did. And then they come into 5 and, they kind of squash everything. They obviously need each other more than ever. But I don't know. It's so interesting because I agree with so much of what you just said, Michael. I think a lot of what he deals with in these games also kind of comes down to age. And by no means is he like, he's not 50 years older than everybody else, but he's got at least 10 years on some of these people, some of them probably closer to 15 or more. And so like, I think a lot of them, and he, is open about his family, talks about his kids when he's in the house. And I think a lot of people look at him like this fatherly figure, but also like a very wise, intelligent, like has lived some life and like is just a smart guy. And that's hard to ignore when he's not just a smart guy, but he's a smart guy that you see is always playing the game. Like from morning until night, he's having game conversations. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like every time I saw him on feeds, I was always so aware of the social game that he was playing, but sometimes it seemed a little like clearly intentional. It didn't seem always like super, super natural in conversations. Like he did the Dan Giesling, like he studied, I'm sure, and like saw Dan, talking to people. Oh, tell me about this and tell me about that. But sometimes for me watching those conversations, it felt like you knew what he was doing if you were clocked into what people do in Big Brother to try to play a good social game. A little bit of what Rachel had going on this past summer of like, Rachel was trying to do the same thing of like, oh, tell me all about your family. But like, sometimes you can see through it.
I guess if you're not Dan Giesling, I don't know. Or maybe Dan invented it and everybody after that just is going to suck at replicating it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at before in that, like, because I agree with you, Michael, in that, like, he has a great social game because, yeah, like, he, everybody did like Bruno, but I think, I guess, I mean, what's a word that I could use? I guess I feel like he just lacked real connections some of the time that really anchor you down. Whereas, like, you have a game relationship with people, and then you have, oh, like, I actually like you as a person. I want to be friends with you outside of this house. Like, I feel like while those things can still develop for him, I think that he came in there with a goal. And I think that goal, like, his rigidity, I think, is what kept him from really insulating himself in crucial situations. But at the same time, we still have to give him credit at the fact that, like, I feel like both evictions were kind of very circumstantial, with the whole thing with the twists with the veto in 5, and then Brittany getting the coup d'etat power, which really leaves him exposed. So, I think that he definitely can go further than what we've seen. But I do think that the biggest flaw that he'll have is caring too much about the game and not necessarily just talking to people for who they are, and moving through with that kind of like energy. But yeah.
And I say about, like, maybe he finishes in a similar spot. I could easily see Bruno winning a season of Big Brother, like, easily. I think he needs, like, he hasn't kind of fallen into like the exact right scenario with who he's playing with. BB Can also, especially, again, don't usually cast multiple house guests around his age.
Yeah.
And again, he's not that old, but just like older in comparison to who they cast. So,
well, I think in Big Brother Canada 3, I think he was only like 30 something, right? Yeah, he was 31 in Big Brother Canada 3. He was really not, but they try to paint him as like the dad, and it's like, he's not that old.
I mean, I guess like just having kids.
Once you have kids, you're like, you're old.
Yeah.
And like,
you created a whole human being.
BB Can 3 was probably like an average age of like 23 or 24.
Yeah, because that era, they would always do young 20s, and that was like a whole thing for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, like that whole group of like Zach, Ashley, Peely, JP, like they're all so
you mean they call themselves a fucking diaper line,
right?
Because they're the young ones. Like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
And Bruno's like, yeah, I could basically have changed your diapers at my age of 31. So yeah, Bruno, a very notable player in the history of Big Brother.
Yes.
So little afraid to see what's going to come next. We could have a banger of a matchup on our hands. Plus, a lot of BB Can 3 still on the wheel, so it could be one of those. Let's find out. Let's find out.
A Nick.
A little bit of a fear that it's like, oh God.
Oh, damn.
Maybe we shouldn't have put celebrity on the wheel today. Candy Burris.
Yeah.
Big Brother Celebrity Season 2. Candy going through it right now. IRL.
What happened to Candy?
It's just a divorce in the midst currently to her husband Todd, who she had been with for I don't know the amount of years, a long time. Certainly as long as, since we saw her on Big Brother, but like a long time. But she also recently at I think this past BravoCon got like a lifetime Bravo Achievement Award of some sort. I don't know the exact name of the award.
She better have, after all the shit she went through on that damn show. Oh my God.
Yeah. Candy's very interesting for me as someone who met her on Big Brother and then went back and watched every season of Real Housewives of Atlanta to see her like journey to getting to that point and learning about like who she is. Like she is like a big name in the entertainment industry.
Yes.
And we'll see if she can be a big name in round 2 of this competition after we talk about her Big Brother games. So let me get the graphic up. And Amon, do we have
who said that? Who been saying that? Who said that? All right, Candy. Candy entered the house having a pre-existing relationship with Tamar that was very rocky as their season began. Eventually, they got on the same page. They worked together until Candy was evicted at Final 5. I don't like that blurb. That blurb wasn't very descriptive.
Oh, that was it?
That was it. That was
well, celebrity, it's a short season. But Michael, we want to kick us off with a conversation about Candy Burris?
Honestly, like, not really. Like, I don't, there's not like much to say. I feel like in Big Brother, Celebrity Big Brother season 2, she was just kind of there. Like, she didn't really ruffle feathers besides with Tamar, but that was more Tamar ruffling her feathers. Everybody liked her. She coasted to the end and then got 5th or 4th or something. Wasn't really
Yeah,
too
fifth.
like, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, can't associate any big game lines or game structure that was related or relevant to Candy. So and like, yeah, like comparing her to Bruno, or like a game like Celebrity Big Brother to Bruno, who we have 2 seasons to talk about. There's not much substance or anything to really talk about with her. So I don't know what to say. I kind of wish we got Tom, because I got a lot to say about Tom
Tom
Plant.
Plant, yeah, it was almost Tom. I also wish we got Tom, because that would have been a much happier, easier decision for me. This one is going to break my heart really either way. Candy Amon was someone who I feel like, any celebrity that goes into the game that's not like Ross Matthews, that people that don't know the game well, Jonathan Bennett, like, you don't have expectations of them. You're like, oh, they signed up for this, their agent signed them up for this, like, we'll see how it goes. But when they learn the game as they go, and can pick up just how it works. Obviously, Candy is a very intelligent person, to, like, just in general, let alone to like learn the game of Big Brother. It's not that complicated. But she kind of came in not like with the Tamar connection having been rocky at best. And then they go through some highs and lows throughout the season, also having to navigate the rest of the people in the house, who some just choose to like discard her, put her aside, and say, I'm not wanting to play the game with you. She wasn't in the majority alliance with Tamar, Natalie, Lolo, Ricky. She was just kind of tangentially saved at times because of her association with Tamar at the end of the day. She wasn't super involved in the game. She was learning as you went, and you heard her like aware of what was happening in the house, but she never had power to do anything about it. And she never had allies around her to make anything happen. Her closest ally was Dina Lohan, and that did nothing for her because it was Dina Lohan.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like she was very measured in the house. And it's interesting because of the fact that she was involved in a lot of the more famous fights in the Housewife franchise. I think a lot of people had expectations of her coming in and being sort of like this bombastic character. And I'm sure if people would have ruffled her feathers enough, we could have seen that side of Candy. But it really didn't look like she was in there to really cause any trouble, cause any problems. She didn't really participate in the drama. She didn't escalate the drama. If anything, she kind of behaved as a wet towel and tried to really calm people down, specifically Tamar. It was really interesting to see the relationship sort of, evolve in the midst of this game. I think a lot of people thought that was a very healing thing for both of them, which is odd because it's the Big Brother house. But yeah, I mean, I agree. I think she had really good reads about what was going on in the house. She kind of like knew where everybody stood. She knew that she wasn't really a power player. But she also was in a house where there were so many more like athletically inclined people. You got Lolo in there, you got Ricky in there, you got Natalie, Eva Marie in there. So it was like really hard for her to win some of these comps, to gain power. But everyone really liked her. They saw her as like, she's like one of those like calm people in the house that like, you kind of see her as like a non-threat in the beginning, and then she kind of turns into somebody that you need because you feel like she could be a swing vote for you. And I think that's kind of like what got her to her position. So it wasn't a bad game, especially for someone who had never really known what was going on. I remember Ika still during the interviews asking her, do you want to be backdoored? And she's like, what is that? So, I would be interested to see her come back and play, because I feel like she would really try to have a little bit more agency. But
yeah, that's not happening. She's got things to do. I think of like 2 specific moments of like a highlight of her being good at Big Brother in the short time she had to play. One is just her being so on Natalie Eva Marie's ass of like, she knew that Natalie was the threat and that she needed to go, and that she was a problem in her way of like having any chance of going deep with Tamar, or having any chance of Tamar prioritizing her over Natalie. Like, Natalie was a competition threat, and just like clearly seemed like somebody that could go on to win the game, whereas like Lolo was possibly going to win competitions, but who's going to vote for her at the end? So she, I think, had a lot to do with Tom eventually taking that shot and just like pushing to make sure that happened. And then I also think of her at the final 5, I guess it is. She goes out here of just like really trying to make a good argument to like Ricky Williams of like, hey, let's try to make something happen here. They had a good connection throughout, the season, but Ricky was just so tied in with the rest of them. So
Yeah.
it didn't work. But I don't want to talk about. I don't want to discuss. I don't want to do it.
Well, I
don't
can go
wanna-
first. I'm
Okay.
gonna be choosing Bruno. I just think he just was just much more BB inclined. He just knows the game. He knew it prior. He's a big fan. Very good instincts. He just plays the game well. And I think it's just hard when you have that going up against someone who didn't know what they were doing until they got into the house. It's just hard to really say that person's better.
So, Michael, I think you already kind of tipped your hand as to where you're voting.
Yeah, I mean, have to go with Bruno. Like Amon said, he was just a super fan. He understands the game. He checks all the boxes mostly that I like. And Candy, to her credit, I don't want to like sound like I'm completely dismissive of her, but it's like Bruno, who played the game heavily twice, and Candy, who's just kind of there, not really involved. It's like choice is kind of obvious for me.
Well, this could be interesting, or it could have gotten more interesting because a patron vote was cast on both of these players.
Dang.
Yeah. Bruno had a bonus vote cast his way from Jimmy, and Candy had a vote cast her way from Jackson. And I remember when that vote came in for Candy, and I said, I like this. I'm so happy that she's going to have a good chance at going through here. But even with those patron votes, it's not going to happen. I'm going to throw a vote to Candy because it doesn't matter. If it did matter, I would have voted for Bruno. Obviously, he is the better player here, but I just want to show some love to Candy Burris because beyond just like meeting her on Big Brother and being impressed with what she picked up on by the time she was out of the house or done with the game, just getting to watch her whole journey over on Bravo was a big highlight for me. I really enjoyed it, and I'm just glad I am aware of the world of Candy Burris now. So sad it's coming to an end here. Obviously, Battleback vote is to come, so we'll see if maybe she gets any love over there, but Bruno's going to move on and Candy is not. So let's get back to the
Sorry,
wheel.
Candy. Sorry, girl.
Maybe she'll write a song about this.
I was here to say she's a great songwriter, so she'll be all right.
She has written like the amount. Anytime someone's like, "Oh yeah, Candy Burris wrote this song," I'm like, what? It's like the songs you would never have expected.
She's been around a long time.
Yeah,
long time.
Well, let's see where we go next.
Okay.
We manifested this one.
Oh, yeah.
Rosina.
Yeah. Michael did. Yeah, he ain't got nowhere to blame but him damn self because he the one who said this. Okay.
I don't even know if we were recording yet when this conversation happened. I can't remember. But we did mention the idea of Rosina coming up. Oh, we said Rosina versus Chuck Liddell. So there's a possibility.
Damn. Rosina and her butter ass chicken, yo. I really wanted to try it. It looked good. Okay. All right. Rosina. Wait, where is she? Oh, there she is. Rosina. It's so short. An outsider, possibly due to her age, Rosina was put in harm's way early on and was not able to survive.
Well, that's true. This was Heaven and Hell, right? Of Big Brother Canada 6. And she was in hell, quite literally in the game. And 6 days later, she is gone. Michael, Big Brother Canada certainly was gaining a reputation around this time between, Risha and Rosina and Christine, kind of in BB Can 4, of just like, if you're a 50-plus-year-old woman, you are not making it to jury, even past week 3.
Yeah, which sucks because I'm a big Risha Denner fan. Don't ask me why, but I wish Risha stayed over Pilar. I remember shout out to Richard. Well, not shout out, but Richard Donato famously campaigning, being Risha's only supporter, campaigning for her to stay. But with Rosina, yeah, like that's really all there is to say. She was the older woman in the house, an easy person to target, and so they did. The only thing I want to note or kind of ask you guys was this. I believe around the time too where they like we only saw her for like a couple of episodes because they didn't turn the live feeds on too, right? We
Mhm.
I
never
think
saw
so.
her on feeds. Okay,
Mhm.
yeah. So there's not like much to say. I won't bitch too much because we got Bruno. I'm like that was fun talking about Bruno. That's a hype player to get. So that's all there is to Rosina to me. Like not much to say.
There's not much. No.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like on the episode during the HOH, she was like openly rooting for the girls to win, and a lot of the guys were like, "Well," so she kind of just really made it very easy to be targeted, and I think she came in with like such enthusiasm. You know, everybody loved her, but I think it was a bit too much in the sense that like I think she was kind of overwhelming people with like the passion that she had because she wanted to prove herself so badly. And she was under a lot of pressure being the older person in the house, but I think she may have just overplayed her hand just a bit. Were her odds great to begin with? Probably not, but I don't think that she really did herself any favors. Now, I say all of this with a grain of salt, though, because this was all, as we just said, told through the edit. So I don't really know what her campaigning actually looked like from that week. But if it's anything like what was shown, I can understand why it was a pretty easy decision for her to be the first boot.
We just set her up for failure. We're setting these older house guests up for failure when you're putting them in there, and it's like, okay, well, who was an easy first nomination? And obviously
Yeah,
the
but it's
wishing thing
also
wasn't even
not
that.
great to openly root for the girls in the HOH comp. That's not great.
It's just, regardless, I think an easy decision for them to have, picked her out to be someone to go up and out early. She ends up on the block. I think it was against Allie, right? And it's like, all right, well, Allie's gonna instantly make friends that are around her age, and we go from there. It's not like a death sentence to be an older house guest. Look at like your Karens of the world and Bruno's. Again, Bruno's not that old. I'm sorry, I keep calling him like older than. I shouldn't lump him in that same category, but that's the character that they presented him as. It didn't go well. Didn't go her way. First
No.
boot. 16th place. I feel like she's a well-liked first boot. I feel like I've never heard anyone have a bad thing to say about her. Not that
And, she had some support. Like Hamza, I remember he was pissed at first. He was like, I don't like, why are we doing this? We're always getting rid of the older person. This is stupid. So like, it wasn't completely impossible for her to sort of like find a way to survive. But again, I think there were some things that weren't the best from her for the week one,
Yeah. Well, get ready when I tell you that she has a patron vote. No, I don't know. I don't think so. That would be a great use of a vote, but I'm not sure that is the case here. So we go back to the wheel, and one of those spins where you feel pretty good about whoever might get pulled here and their chances.
Chuck, I'm gonna scream.
If it's Tom Plant, I'm gonna scream. Oh wait, it almost is. Oh, this is fun.
Okay.
Big Brother over the top, Shelby Stockton.
Yeah.
So we said we're gonna mix it up today, throw some celebs and OTT on the wheel, and they showed up.
They did.
They
did.
Showed up here, and we're gonna talk about Shelby. I mean, when I think of OTT, I feel like I think of Jason, and then I think of Shelby before I get to anybody else. Before I get to the winner, before I get to
Chrissy.
And yeah, just I think of Shelby. Top two. Maybe top one.
I think that's fair. I think of Jason and Justin probably the most because he was just so he was so crazy.
Cornbread, maybe.
Oh yeah, cornbread. Fuck y'all. Okay. Shelby started the game as people saw her as annoying. Alex and Morgan reeled her in where she would join them and Whitney as the Ball Smashers. She found herself in a good position by playing dumb and hiding her status as a law student. Following Alex's eviction and Whitney's betrayal, Shelby became a major threat, winning back-to-back HOHs in a POV. In week 8, seeing her as a major threat to win, the remaining house guests devoted to evict her, placing 5th on Morgan's HOH. Throughout the season, she was known for her snarky, funny personality, her bluntness and her brutal honesty, her love of crackles, and her bitter rivalry with Jason.
Michael, I don't know if we've gotten this lore from you yet. What side were you on while watching?
I loved both. I was honestly equal. I loved all of the OTT cast except for Cornbread and Monty, and I really hate Scott Dennis. But I really love both the Ball Smashers and Late Night Jamboree. So like I was having a fun time, like no matter who left, like I really didn't care.
So like when Shelby and Jason go at it, you were rooting for everybody.
The best rivalries on Big Brother is where you either hate both parties involved, like Christy and Nick in Big Brother 21, or you love both, like Jason and Shelby. Like at least for me personally, so I love their rivalry. I don't know if I'm like allowed to say that because I know some people get really passionate over some of the fighting and what went down, but like I thought it was entertaining. I enjoyed it.
And you can keep wearing that T-shirt with the dress.
With the dress.
Like it's etched into my brain forever. Like it might be my last words on earth. OTT had to be there, and every time OTT comes up I always feel bad I'm on because you always get like one person that's like, how do I watch it? It's not available. And then I'm like, I don't know, I'm sorry. People have the links, but they always go hiding. And I want to watch it.
There are ways. If you really want to watch BBOTT, there are ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shelby. I wasn't the biggest fan of Shelby. I think I might have had like a little bit of cult-like energy going on with Jason because I just wanted to see him get a win so bad. So I think it took me a while to really appreciate what Shelby had going on. But I think definitely what was most entertaining was sort of just like her just irreverent ass attitude about what was going on in the game, and just the game itself, and Jeff coming in and being like, oh, I didn't watch your season, just stuff like that, where it's just like, oh, this is like someone who's like not really here for the cameras, is here for the ride, loves the fact that she got this opportunity, learning the game as she went. I remember everyone going in an uproar during that one HOH with the lasers and the mirrors because they were like, one of these things is broken. It's rigged for Jason. Give Shelby another chance. And y'all complained so much that production was like, okay.
I mean,
redo the
I think
HOH.
it was broken.
It was broken. It was broken. It definitely deserved some looking at for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, she really started to hit some steam. I think that turning point when Whitney decided to defect really woke her ass up, and she was like, you know what, F this. Like, I want to be here, and if not for me, then at least for the people that I've been playing with, at least for Morgan. So I remember they were having a conversation at one point, and she was like, you know what, like, I'm gonna be okay after this. Like, I have a good life, I have a good job, I'm okay, but like, I refuse to go out of here without fighting my ass off to at least put you in a better position. And ultimately Morgan ends up winning the game, so hey. But yeah, I think she had, sharp wit, she was really funny, good bonds with the people in the house that she was working with, and yeah, she just was an all-around pretty decent player who could win comps as well to back it up. So yeah.
She definitely wasn't dying to be there playing the game. She didn't know what she was signing up for. She ends up getting into the house and is like, this is crazy. These people are crazy. And to be fair, the people in that house were some of the craziest group of people we've ever seen. And she was stuck living with them. Watching the scenes of her side of the house, the Ball Smashers, just be in awe of like the behavior of the rest of the house as they perceived it. I guess I'll say they were just like, they couldn't believe, like, you could tell that, like, I don't know, I guess most of the Late Night Jamboree is like nobody that the Ball Smashers interacted with in real life. So they were just like, who are these people? What is happening? And it was just such a contrast, and why like the fandom was so crazy divided, because a lot of the fans just fully got behind either like, the Looney Tunes over here, or like the just like, oh, we're just sitting over here having our conversation because we're like the normal people in the house. I don't know. There was a lot to it. I do want to also say, I'm sure I've said this before. It's so annoying. Taryn, I blame you. No, I'm just kidding. That we didn't have live feed updates yet. Still in our infancy of like Taryn and the live feed updaters like getting going on our HAP. But like imagine live feed updates that we can go back at least and watch from this season. All the podcasts are there. Our HAP covered the season front and back, and Aman was a part of it in some aspect.
Yeah. And I think in some ways those are probably some of the more accurate, like, podcasts, because the whole show was just the live feeds, right? So like, the
But
edit.
I want the updates. I want the here's what happened overnight and here's what happened all day long, rather than just like the version of what the podcast used to be of just like let's just talk about it at the end of the episode recap or whatever it was.
Yeah.
We need the OTT updates. Let's go back and do it somehow.
Release the OTT file.
Michael, anything else on Shelby in particular before we get to this very contentious vote?
Honestly, not really. I agree with pretty much with most of what Aman said about her. Are you, Matt? Were you Ball Smashers or were you Late Night Jamboree?
I was Late Night Jamboree, and everyone is always surprised to hear that about me.
Yeah, I was getting more like Ball Smasher vibes, like not in a like any specific way. I was just like, oh, are you guys like split like Ball Smashers Late Night Jamboree? But okay.
No, because I was rooting for Jason and Jason's side like hardcore.
Yeah.
As I have grown in my reality TV standom, whatever, I will now root for a group of girlies over anybody else. And so I think that's why people are surprised.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I really did love them all equally, except my favorite of the season is tied between Chrissy and Danielle. Love them both. But with Shelby, the only thing, I don't know why, but coming like right to the top of my head, just something I want to kind of briefly touch on is like right away, I was like, oh, she did have like a bubbly, sarcastic, weird personality where a lot of the house guests liked and it benefited her socially. And then I was like, oh no, half of the house hated her. But I also think in my head right away, does that work with most casts or in most seasons of Big Brother? Would people gravitate to her personality? And it's just in OTT, they all hated her because Jason hated her and Jason was the leader of that side. And it reminds me a lot, which people are going to say like crazy comparison, but with Taylor Hale, I attribute a lot of her hate in the beginning. Like a lot of them, once we saw Paloma leave, really gravitated and liked her, like Jasmine and India, like we like her. And so I attributed a lot of them disliking Taylor. Like a lot of people that hate Taylor will say she had a bad social game in the beginning. And I'm like, not really. It was just that Paloma was jealous of her. And she was kind of the ringleader that got them all to hate her. And like thinking about Shelby, like I just had this thought when we were talking about her. Like I thought she had a good social game or a good social game with her side and like a good personality. But like half of the house hated her. And I'm like, does that work on another season of Big Brother? And it just didn't on OTT because of Jason and his influence. I'm not really sure. Not that it really matters too much. Like she was kind of unserious until the end when all of her allies left. But just something that I wanted to kind of know, like a thought I had when thinking about Shelby.
I think once the lines became more clear in the house, then like Shelby and the Boss Masters just like stuck to their side. I remember like Alex a little bit having more conversations with both sides and eventually Morgan because there was nobody left. But when Shelby realized that like she only wanted to stick to her side, it was just like maybe Jason was like the leader of like, shit talking everybody over there, but then everybody got in on it. But once the lines were drawn, it was, stay on your side.
It kind of reminded me a little bit more so of BB19, just like, not as it didn't get as vicious as BB19 got, but like in the sense that there's one person that is sort of framing the narrative of who is the pariah of the house. And Jason and her were just like oil and water. But it was so interesting to me because like when it did become apparent that Shelby was going to be the one to go, feel like I remember the two of them kind of like coming together for a second and being like, like I really don't think you're a bad person. Like I don't hate you. Like I really don't have any beef with you, but like we're just not going to work together in this game. And I wish that people remembered more of that because I feel like there was and again, this isn't me trying to sugarcoat some of the stuff that came out of Jason's mouth because some of the stuff that came out of Jason's mouth was disgusting. Okay. But I never really felt like he actually meant it. And that conversation that he had with Shelby was like pretty much the confirmation in that like, girl, like it's just a key. It's a key. Like we're going to be fine at the end of this. I don't think they were ever really friends at the end of it, but like, I never really felt like it was going to go leave the house and go past the game after that. So
I think it was like a year or two ago, maybe at this point. Morgan was doing a podcast. She might still be doing, I'm not sure. But she had gotten Shelby on to interview her. And it was like the first time anyone had heard from Shelby in many years. And she was just like, yeah, I just went back to normal life. Like she had no interest in like the LA of it all, like being a reality star. Morgan obviously goes on to do some other shows. And, just some of the cast was probably there for that kind of purpose. But Shelby was like, get me out of here. Never again.
Yeah.
Going back to work.
Yeah.
Please. No, thank you.
Like she said, she didn't need that shit. She's some casting director found her at the bungalow, and she was like, okay. And the rest is history.
Yeah, well, unfortunately for her, she might get stuck in this reality world a little bit longer. If I can guess where this vote is going, Michael, kick us off. Rosina versus Shelby.
So, okay. I just want to say, because I don't think I'll have or maybe won't have the opportunity to ever talk about OTT again. I just want to say, while we're on the topic, nothing to do with anything. Top 5 best Big Brother moments is when Morgan tried to tell Chrissy in the bathroom that her and Alex were sisters, and Chrissy did not believe her and was like, "Sure, Morgan, like, yeah, you guys are sisters." Just had to mention that. Love Chrissy, but my vote, obviously, we're gonna give it to Shelby, because Rosina we saw in like 2 episodes, and even if we saw it for longer, I'm pretty confident she'd either just be a perpetual pawn on the block or an early boot, because the house guests look at her as the older woman we can get out and not get blood on her hands.
I was going to say maybe Chrissy could come up today, but then I remembered Chrissy has already come up. So Chrissy is out, unfortunately. Chrissy got taken down by Goose, BB Can 12. And Morgan also got taken down by BB Can 12's Anthony Douglas. So
wait, who did Chrissy face?
Goose?
Goose?
You didn't watch BB Can 12?
No. His name is Goose?
Well, his name is Elijah, but
they call him Goose because of his laugh.
Hold on. Which one was I like followed it on Twitter? Why do I not remember? Hold on. Who the fuck was this?
I'm pretty confident that he will be listening to this. So shout out Goose. How you doing?
What up, Goose?
Sorry,
we're in talks to hopefully get him back on the podcast sometime soon. And by then, Michael will have maybe learned a little bit more about you.
Sorry, so sorry.
All right. Well, that's 1 vote to Shelby, 2 votes to Shelby from me. I'm on.
3 votes to Shelby.
4 votes to Shelby. A patron vote on Shelby comes in, I believe, from Nick. Yes. And this one has been cooking in there for a while, waiting for this Shelby vote to come out. So tough competition against Rosina. Glad it was it was used here, but Shelby will make it through to the next round of this competition, which is also good for OTT. Not having the best luck in general. Shane, Whitney, Danielle have won their matchups, and then both of the Willett sisters have won a battle back. So
who did the Willett sisters lose to in round 1?
Morgan lost to Anthony Douglas.
Oh, you just said that. Oops.
And Alex lost to Kalia Booker.
That okay. Those make sense. That sucks for them, like luck wise, because I feel like more often than not they make it on like further. All 4 of them, but like the Willett sisters.
I feel like we went back and forth between Kalia and Alex a little bit, but
yes, that wasn't a unanimous vote for sure. But the fact that both of them have now been voted back in is an interesting storyline as we get to round 2. So, all right, well, 2 more players to go here. Let's see where we're gonna get going.
Here we go.
But the sprinkles of OTT and celeb have been popping their head in, and we're gonna stick with Canada though. We're gonna talk about someone who competed with Rashad to get back into the house, and that's Neha. One of the most robbed in the history of Big Brother, period, let alone Big Brother Canada. This was the instant eviction.
Yeah.
Absolutely brutal. And this is like my young fandom of Big Brother. Like 16 was my first US, and then BB Can 3 followed soon behind for Canada. And I just remember like seeing the few accounts that I followed around Big Brother, devastated that Neha went. Like whatever the preseason was, people must have just had the highest of hopes, thinking that she was going to do well or be fun, and devastation when she was eliminated. 15th place. We have notes?
We do. Neha was viewed as a strategic threat very early in the game. This, along with her strong performance in comps, led to Neha being an early target. Despite coming close to winning HOH in week 3, Kevin won and was informed that it was an instant eviction. Not having any time to discuss his nominations, Kevin nominated Neha and Brittany, with Neha as the target. After it was revealed to be an instant eviction, Neha was evicted by a vote of 9-2.
Imagine, like, you just get in that house, like, you're about to play Big Brother, you're playing Big Brother, and then this comes along and you just get totally screwed. I can't imagine.
Yeah. I think we could all kind of just like feel that there was so much more for her to give. Just one of those really charismatic people early in the game, had a bunch of allies early on, real friendships. People just really wanted to work with her. But I think that she was also just very highly visible. And when BB 3 has a lot of squirrely gamers on it, and Kevin being one of the most squirrely. So I think, yeah, it really was just a really bad draw that there was an instant eviction so early on. An instant eviction, that is your moment to strike, when you're like, oh, when you have no time and you're like, I have to just get this person out. It is what it is. I have a bad feeling about her. Get her gone.
But on the flip side, just to touch on the topic of the instant, don't we all like sometimes talk about, if there's going to be a double eviction, if there's going to be a twist, don't do it at final 7, do it at the beginning of the game when we care about the people a little bit less. And that's what they did here. So I don't know, maybe we're just not ever happy.
I mean, I wasn't necessarily depressed about her going. Like, not that I didn't like dislike Neha at all, but like I think it's kind of more what you just said. It's like it was so early that it was like, oh, that's sad. Like I feel like she was going to be good, but like that's the way the cookie crumbles. See you, girl. And she had a chance to come back, and she lost. So,
I would have been much more interested in the Neha return, but not just because of the untapped potential, but like, I don't know, just over Cindy at that point. Michael, what'd you think of Neha then and now?
So I apologize again in advance. I have a lot to say about Neha.
Apologizing to have a lot to say on a podcast is the craziest thing, but you do you.
Okay, so first I have to apologize also to my best friend Brendan, because he knows I like her and I'm about to say a lot of good things about her, but he hates her and he always gets mad when I talk good about her. But Aman, you did say a lot of what I wanted to say. First, to preface, Big Brother Canada 3, infamously, I would say, was a season that cast a bunch of super fans, with Neha being one. And then since then, we've had a lot of the discourse of whether recruits or super fans are better to be cast. I'm in favor of recruits personally, just because of a season like Big Brother Canada 3, where we did have a lot of these people gaming 24/7 and were kind of afraid to get into arguments and fights. With Neha, though, she didn't do herself any favors. I think she does have a very dominant personality, to where it intimidated a lot of her other house guests, that they knew, like, this woman is going to do a lot of damage in the game if we keep her around. I remember on live feeds watching her. I had the same pipeline as you, Matt, by the way, from Big Brother 16, and then Big Brother Canada 3 was like first, like, full live. I remember watching her on the live feeds a lot, and her and everybody, though, to her credit, were just open about how much they knew about the game and strategy and talking about it. I remember, like, her and Godfrey, they were having a conversation in the kitchen just about All Stars, Big Brother All Stars, who they want to see back. And she said Ian Terry. I don't know why, but just like always openly talking about how big of a fan she was. And I feel like a lot of the players early on really targeted her because of that. They saw her as somebody that was very smart, could win competitions. I do want to note, though, with the instant eviction, I don't know how much credibility I will put into this, but Kevin Martin says all the time that if it wasn't for the instant eviction, he would have aligned and worked with Neha, because she put in a lot of good work with him right before the instant eviction. She was outside with, I think, him and like Sarah and Jordan and all those people, and we're campaigning and really trying to solidify a group going forward. And Kevin has talked many times saying that if it wasn't for it being an instant, he would have decided to work with Neha going forward. But again, it's Kevin Martin. He does a lot of damage control in the game and outside with the fans. And to me, it's like, what difference does the instant make? Like, if you had that conversation and you did want to work with her, why would you nominate her in the instant, but not if it wasn't instant? I don't really know. All that to say, though, I don't really know how I feel about her as a player overall. Like I said, I think she just comes off of as a very strong personality, and she doesn't really hide that. And she is kind of out with how knowledgeable she is of the game. So I feel like more often than not, that would hurt her in a game like Big Brother. Or maybe it's only because she was with a bunch of other super fans and they knew to target her because of that. But
Yeah.
other than that, like socially, I don't really know who she was aligned with, like deeply aligned with early on, other than Sarah and Brittany. And then even Sarah voted. Well, Sarah was her only vote to stay, I
Yeah.
believe. It was like unanimous besides Sarah, I think.
Johnny Caltrulio also voted
Johnny.
to keep
Oh,
Neha,
ooh.
but because that was like a pretty, significant click at the beginning of the game. But the
Mhm.
fact that Sarah votes against Brittany
Yeah.
at all in the game, but this early on is a very interesting part of their story that I feel like is not super a part of their story when you tell it back. But they were
Yeah,
close to Neha.
if you remember Sarah's rap where she had that line about like, sorry, I voted for you, Brittany. I just didn't know how the fuck to spell Neha. That was a great Sarah Hanlon moment.
That would be
But
great.
yeah, honestly, like I was rooting for her too. I'll just say this really quick, but I was rooting for her to come back as well. But I feel like, no offense to Neha, hindsight being 2020, I'm kind of happy we got Cindy over her because I enjoy Cindy, and I think the remaining time she had on Big Brother Canada 3, I enjoyed. No offense, Jordan Parhar, and then
I
I enjoyed
mean,
her a lot on Big Brother Canada 5, and then Audrey Sequester, I believe she was on, and I watched her on, and I feel like we don't get those if it wasn't for her coming
exactly.
back.
I was getting ready to say, if Cindy doesn't come back into the game, we do not get Ika versus Netta in BB Can 5.
Exactly. It's like the waterfall of effects or cause and
Mhm.
effect or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Neha. Yeah, she because and I agree because I forgot about the Kevin of it all. He really didn't want to put her up, but he did the famous thing where he's like, well, I have to just do what the house is doing. Like I have no power, I have no pressure. He didn't want to be the next target because clearly she was being targeted because she was seen as someone who was going to be very hard to beat in the end, and he didn't want to be perceived as someone who knew what they were doing too much. So he was like, all right, well, I'll just go ahead and do it, which doesn't end up working for him in the end either. So
That's what Kevin was so fucking annoying. I'm sorry, but I did not enjoy watching Kevin on 3 or 5, and it's so frustrating with the Neha thing. Just want to throw this out there because him and Neha were in similar spots. Like, thought they were integrated more with the main house, like the chop shop and people, than they actually were. And the fact that Kevin can't recognize, like, oh, she's kind of on the outs like me. Let me not put her up, no matter what he says of if he like really wanted to or not. It's just so frustrating. And then all the people, all the fans like love Kevin and act like he's this very smart player. And it's like, he really, really is not. I would not put him in the upper tier, maybe slightly above average of Big Brother players, but and not to rant about Kevin Martin. Like, I love him after the show and everything he does post show, but sorry, his move when they outbugged me. Maybe I am more bitter.
I don't think he's generally regarded as one of the best strategic minds in the show. Obviously, the comps put him on a whole different tier. People say he broke the game and all that stuff. So that's like a different way of playing Big Brother, but he dominated his way through that. And that's what, whenever the later conversations that we have with Kevin and any future rounds that he's going to come up in, he's already in round 2, are just going to continue to be about that because there's no denying, especially in BB Can 5, he struggled pretty heavily, especially post Netta, getting anything strategically off the ground. So
strategically and socially, and then like
socially.
I can never ever get past the Big Brother Canada 5, like the secret hidden veto. It's like literally to me, it's like were the comps breaking the game impressive, like sort of kind of, but it's like that would never be a factor if it wasn't for William crawling through the backyard like walls. So it's like I don't know. I'm sorry, Kevin Martin, but not super high on him.
Well, luckily for him, he's already in round 2. Doesn't have to worry about about you and your votes here today. But we do have to find Neha an opponent after she was taken out at the hands of Kevin Martin and that instant eviction. Let's see if she can get any justice today, or if her fate will end just like it did last time, out relatively instantly. She's going to be up against.
well,
There you go.
This is interesting. One of the 2 remaining players of Big Brother Canada 4, Shari. Nikki Graham, the only player left of Big Brother Canada 4.
Oh, interesting.
Shari.
All right,
Another-
Shari.
They went out basically the same spot.
Pretty much, yeah. All right, Shari began the game as a social player, bonding with many of the house guests and growing especially close to Levita. After Shari and Levita were blindsided at PG's eviction, Pijai? How do you wait?
Who?
Page?
Oh, it was spelled so weird on here. Paige's eviction. I was like, PG? Wait, that's Survivor. Shari was put on the block.
I had to take the sounds that I was hearing and say, who went out in early BB Can 4?
I could not remember either. I was like, who the fuck is this? Okay.
Hi, Jai.
Paige's
that's good.
eviction. Shari was put on the block alongside Levita due to the majority of the house wanting to break up their obvious alliance. Despite Levita being the initial target, the house began to see Shari as a major social threat, and she was evicted by a vote of 11-1.
Accent was coming through there. Hi, Jai. Shari, yeah. So a very similar amount of days played. What was that? Like a day off? That she was 14 days, and I think Neha said 15. But what tragically similar stories of just going home so early in the game. Shari, I know you just read the blurb, but I was listening to Pai Jai. She wasn't an instant though, right? It was the normal week.
One.
Yeah, Jared, HOH, Levita, Shari, those two were besties in the house, and Levita somehow finds a way to stay, despite being as chaotic as she was in that early part of the season. Michael, what do you got?
I got a lot. So I think this is actually going to be a lot closer than I thought when I saw Shari's name come up. If you remember, I know Paige said in her exit interview, and like a lot of the house guests, when they were evicted and stuff, talked about how they thought Shari was going to be the winner of the season and thought that she was in a very good spot, which is something like I think pretty important to note. Like a lot of the people in the game saw her as a threat, and that's why she was taken out. I don't think she's somebody that was just like victim of circumstance. I think there is a little bit to her going out there besides just being an ally of Levita. To spite Levita, I think she did have a case that a lot of the people thought that she was going to go very far. So to me, it's like that tells me she did have a pretty good social game early on in Big Brother Canada 4. And the reason she did go home was not because of Levita, but it was actually because, well, kind of, but it was because of Cassandra. If you remember, Cassandra was aligned with Levita very early on, and Cassandra amazing at campaigning and getting what she wants. The reason that we do see Shari go home is so Cassandra can keep Levita as a number for herself, which kind of bit her in the ass later on. But yeah, like I just can't get over, not that I can't get over, but I always think with Shari, like a lot of them did talk about thinking that she would be the one to win and that she was going to go very far into the game. Obviously, they were wrong. So I don't know how much credit I'm going to give to that, but it does speak to at least their perception of her early on. So I think her versus Neha, not to go into the debate right away, but like a lot of people early on were talking about targeting Neha, and Shari, honestly, just kind of a victim of Cassandra in my mind.
I'm glad we got BB Can 4 again, because I know it's famously a season that you have a good amount of thoughts on.
It's my second favorite overall. I love BB Can 4.
I feel like Shari just very similar story, just like had potential and doesn't get to realize it because she just gets taken out early. And there's so many players in this category, right? Of just like, someone has to go in 16th and 7th and 15th place and 14th place. That doesn't mean that those are awful players. By no means do we have any evidence that either Neha or Shari is someone who would have been bad, a disaster at all. Like, trending good. People were looking, like you said, Michael, at her as a threat. And so that's certainly the type of player that you want to get out early. It's just, I guess, tough, especially in this matchup. I'm also already thinking about which way I'm going to vote because there's such little evidence on both of them and so much potential for both of them. Amon, what are you thinking here?
Yeah, I think that Cass really thrives in chaos. And I think she saw someone like Shari as someone that was not going to be manipulated, just a little bit too grounded. And like Michael said, is going to have Levita come running back over to her, even though you still are. I still die over the fact that Levita wins HOH later on. And in the living room, she's like, "Oh, that dumb bitch won HOH." I'm like, "Are you like, what is wrong with you?" Like, so it ends up biting her in the ass later on. But I think that Shari kind of just represented a position that I feel like Cass wanted for herself, really just to be queen pin of the house. Because I feel like a lot of the girls liked Shari too. And I think that was threatening to Cass as well, because I feel like Cassandra kind of just wanted to take that spot, right? So yeah, I think Shari, for what it's worth, I don't think that anyone was really going to put her up if she had survived. So I think it's a good read. I just wish that we could just see it just a bit more from her,
This is such an intriguing competition. It's one where, like, let's be real, neither of these two women need to see round 2, but like one of them is going to. Like, you think of early boots like this, you think they're probably somewhat of a layup for whoever else would get them, but a layup and a layup are facing off. One of them is not a layup here.
I'm trying to think, like, if they would have stayed out of Neha and Shari, like, who does more damage in the game? And that's kind of where I feel like I'm going to try to make my decision. And I feel like I might be leaning more towards Neha, because if I remember correctly, I feel like Neha kind of had an idea of what the chop shop was and who was in it, what was going on there. And I feel like having been scared and put on the block and knowing that she could have gone home really lights a fire that really didn't even, she already really kind of already had a fire going. That's why she was evicted in the first place. But I feel like she runs ramshot on the chop shop if she survives. Whereas with Shari, I don't necessarily know if like the Paquette brothers' power grip really existed quite as firmly. So I don't necessarily know if she knows to go after somebody like Cass yet.
Yeah. And once they got Pi J out of there, they had to really just.
Who was also 19. Fun fact. Like, isn't that crazy? Could you imagine going on the show at 19?
Yes.
That's insane.
No. Wait, so Aman, that was a vote for Neha, right?
Oh yeah, I think I'm going Neha here.
All right. Well, funny enough, I'm going Shari. And we'll hear what Michael has to say in a minute. But I'm gonna go Shari. I was just a little bit more compelled. I totally hear the points for Neha, and I won't be upset if she ends up going through by any means. I think that Shari was obviously not well enough, but like laying a little bit lower to the point where that's what I would want from someone in week 2, rather than like Neha was very involved. She had all of these allies around her. But when it was her versus her ally, obviously they had to choose, and that wasn't the ideal circumstance. And Neha also a little bit more screwed by the instant eviction twist. But I don't know. I just feel like Shari was a little bit more social, a little bit more likely to lay low throughout, where I feel like Neha's number probably comes up a little bit sooner, even if the game just kind of continues playing out without the instant eviction. So I don't know. And it's fun to let Michael have to break the tie here. So that's what we'll do. And Michael, what are you thinking?
So my first thought is that I just want to add some context to make the Cassandra calling Levita a bitch even funnier, was that not only did she say that right after winning HOH, but she said it to Levita's number one enemy in Kelsey. Like what are you doing? But I just think I love that. I love Cassandra. I love Levita.
And then she tried to gaslight her afterwards. She's like, Kat, I heard you. I heard what you said. She was like, oh yeah, I said that dumb bitch, whatever. Like,
right. She was like, that's just how I talk.
And then at the veto ceremony, she like said it again and was like, and if you don't use the veto on me, you're a dumb bitch. I'm kidding. No, I'm not. Like she's, I love Cassandra.
And then she earned her callback, in week 2 of Big Brother Canada 4. So,
yeah, they knew right away, like, we're bringing her back 100%. Right. Honestly, like, I don't know if it's unpopular, but I really do think they did it right after BB Cam 4 and Big Brother Canada 5 because of somebody like Cassandra. Like, I think they wanted her back.
It doesn't hurt. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to take a moment like that and say, well, this is a really popular player. They probably would have wanted Tim too, and then settle
he
for
definitely
Dallas.
declined.
Yeah, but
That would have been fun.
Imagine Tim in the BB Can 5 house. It's already explosive enough in there. And then you add Tim Dormer into the mix.
Him versus Ica, they would definitely butt heads, and that I feel like would be great. Like I want to see a showdown.
I think he would have butt heads with both Ica and Netta, and that would have
Netta.
been insane.
But love Netta, one of my favorite players ever, but like she got along with the men pretty well in BB Cam 5, where I'm like, will she butt heads with him? I don't know.
I think they are both so intelligent at the game that I think at some point they would have recognized they couldn't work together all the way to the end, and that would have caused some drama in my mind.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right. With the tiebreaker vote, I'm excited, and I honestly think you both put a little bit, which I'm like, not to come for you, but just give my opinion. I feel like we're putting a little bit too much stock into Neha as a player, because we talk about, or like you guys have talked about, her having a lot of allies early on. And I really think it's limited, or at least not to the degree as her other allies like Sarah and Brittany were well integrated. Like Brittany was really good with Bruno and Greg. They thought they had Brittany in their pocket. And Sarah and Brittany had a very good relationship with Bruno, which people forget, but also with Zach and Jordan. Brittany and Sarah were very integrated. It was like the chop shop. And then you had Sarah, Jordan, Zach, Brittany, and it was kind of like a Venn diagram where they overlapped a little bit. And Neha, I feel like, was very more so with Sarah and Brittany behind them more than integrating with the other people. And then when we saw her try to integrate with Kevin, Jordan, Zach, was right before the instance. So it was like a little too late. So like, I really don't think Neha was integrated that well with people. But Aman does make a very good point when you think of who's going to do more damage in the game. I think had she stayed, she would have been a heavy hitter in the game and would have been making moves. However, again, I think she probably doesn't go very far. Like, I feel pretty confident in saying I don't see Neha Serene going far in a season of Big Brother, because I think she's always going to get recognized as a big power player and people are going to want to take her out, especially in a season like Big Brother Canada 3 with a bunch of super fans that know the game. And then you have Shari, who I really do think, had she not gone home that week, she does go very far, but she would have fallen victim to either a Tim or a Cass eventually. So I think her eviction was circumstantial, but I think had she stayed, how well would she have gone? Or how far she would have gone. But I do think she does seem like somebody that'll pick up the game very naturally and easily as time goes on, but we never got to see it, which sucks. So like I'm weighing it. I'm like, you do have Neha, who if she stays, she will do work in the game, but I do feel like Shari probably goes a bit farther than a Neha would and has potential to do really well, especially if that's a number that could have, if we assume that Cassandra still calls Levita a bitch, well, Levita would have been gone. But I mean, like, if they're both there, would have been a number to get Cass out. Like, so maybe Cass doesn't do as well.
What does Shari's game look like when Levita's gone?
When Levita, yeah, that's the thing. I don't know, because she was really attached to Levita, but like everybody likes her. But at the same time, you have the third wheel looking to kind of, like, they did try to work. No, I don't know if you'd say try to work with Levita, but they had conversations and tried to have a mutual understanding. And I think they definitely would have done that with Shari, because I remember Kelsey talking about how well liked Shari is. Do you remember? Wait, another funny thing about Big Brother Canada 4, the third wheel debating whether to get rid of Levita or Shari. And Kelsey made them evict Shari and keep Levita, where Jared did not want to. He wanted to keep Shari, get rid of Levita. Then Levita stays, wins HOH, and Kelsey goes to Jared and Raul. I told you we should have gotten rid of Levita. And they're like, are you fucking kidding me? I love, that's like another reason I love the third wheel. Like, they were so bad.
So dysfunctional.
But yeah, like, that's another one of my favorite Big Brother moments. So I don't know. Like, Shari, I could see them seeing her get scooped up by the third wheel. And even somebody like Cassandra, like, she's very good at just manipulating people and putting them in her back pocket. So she might have taken that opportunity. And in Big Brother, generally, if people are in a duo or a trio, think of like Sari, Jared, and Izzy, and your ally goes home, you generally make it a lot farther because your threat level just diminishes greatly, where people don't see you as being attached to any sort of alliance. So like, I do still think she goes far, but it's a matter of how well integrated into the actual game she's going to be, or if she's just a number for people. But that being said, we don't know either way because they were evicted early on. So I'm just going to bet on my gut or go with my gut, and I'm going to vote for Shari here.
Wow. What a journey.
Yeah.
I didn't know which way it was going to end. I feel like I thought it might have been leaning to Shari, but then I don't know. The back and forth had me on the ride with you. So Shari, the final decision.
I'm gonna go Shari.
Out of curiosity, is it the same answer if I asked you? So BB Can's coming back for BB Can 13, and they're doing an all-star season, and there's one spot left in the cast. It's Neha or Shari that gets to have that spot, and you get to decide. Are you picking Shari?
Oh, no. Neha 100%. She was a lot more entertaining and fun to watch, and I like her a lot more than Shari, but in terms of doing well in the game, I'd probably say Shari.
Yeah. Okay. I think I'd also pick Neha in that spot. It, if anything, just feels like she has more to come back and prove, obviously, or like justice to be served for how she went out. So,
And more of a plot and like story, more of an attachment.
yeah. I think this vote going a split decision regardless makes a lot of sense. This was not a slam dunk by any means, as you can see by us having a pretty lengthy conversation about it. But I'm on the final result here is Neha is out. Shari is going through to the next round.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I think that it's kind of likely that Neha remains a big like name that just keeps coming up all throughout the season. But again, I feel like there are other big threats in the game at that point as well, that maybe there's a world in which she can make it to the end, but it's going to be a little messy. Whereas with Shari, she might not, be surgically incisive with who needs to be out next if she's to survive. But I think maybe she can kind of like blend back in a little bit more. I don't know if it wins her the game either, but survivability might be a little bit higher in her favor. So I think that's fair. But yeah,
if you told me that Shari was going to make it to round 2 and Nick and
I would have
Phil,
told you lied. Okay.
and Nick and Phil were not, that's the reality.
I forgot about that.
I feel like even if we got Nick and Phil up against Shari, not gonna lie, I feel like there might be a case for Shari. Like I'm not even playing. Like Nick and Phil.
I think you're right. I just like it sounds crazy that the winner / winners of the season would be out, and the second boot is going on through. So that's the world we live in. Let me just recap what we had here today. As you just heard, we had Shari from BB Can 4, 15th place advance over BB Can 3's 15th place in Neha. Previously, before that, we had Shelby from Big Brother Over the Top advance over BB Can 6 first boot, Rosina. And then we also had a very sad loss in the beginning of the episode. For me, at least, probably for many of you out there, Candy Burris is out of the competition in a what ultimately ended up being a 3-1 vote with a little bit of a sympathy vote onto Candy. Bruno, 2-time Big Brother Canada All-Star, 2-time player, advances to the next round. And that's what we have today. Michael, all satisfied with the results? Were the picks a little bit better than last time? I mean, Bruno,
yeah, honestly, like I forgot that we did all 6. Like I thought we still had 2 more. I'm not gonna lie, I forgot about the Bruno Candy thing. But no, like we really did. I mean, if the worst matchup was like Rosina versus Shelby, I'll take it. But we still had a lot to say about Shelby as a player. Had a lot to say about Bruno, and then Shari versus Neha. Like 2 people you wouldn't think would be a good matchup or like point of contention for a discussion, but like it was fun. It was definitely fun this time. Last time it was too, but like for different reasons,
Right. Well, we'll keep working our way up to getting like some big notable names as we go on next time we get to talk to you. But in the meantime, where can people find you online and keep an eye out for whenever the next video drops?
On X or Twitter at MichaelBB28, and then YouTube, just YouTube / at Big Brother Boy.
And so when you're not on BB28 because you seem to be pretty busy elsewhere, what's going to happen?
No, people, I already know, like, once it comes, people are going to be like, you didn't get on the cast. I didn't even apply. Like, I was going to be Michael BB27, but it was taken, so I did BB28. But I don't know. Who knows?
Or maybe you just will get on and we'll be watching.
Yeah, I wish. I don't wish, but yeah, did not apply.
Well, great to catch up. Great to chat again so soon after the last episode, but we had to rectify last episode's wheel spins, and we did today. So we'll all be on the lookout for the next Big Brother Boy video on YouTube. Aman is of course hanging out over on Patreon. The two of us are, excuse me, doing all of our battle back result shows, losers brackets, all that stuff as we get closer to the end of the round. Aman, anything else to be plugging here?
No, I don't think so. Drag Race coming right on up for me. Other than that, just chilling here.
The holidays are around the corner, which is your time to
Holidays around the
shine.
corner.
So.
Yes, they are. I'm so excited.
So check that out if you want more from Aman, again, over on Patreon for the both of us. And then, of course, catch me on the Free Agents podcast, wrapping up the challenge, wrapping up the amazing race, and looking ahead to the Traders 4 coming up very, very soon. So check that out if you are so inclined. Make sure that you are leaving us some love in the comment section here. Subscribe to the podcast on YouTube. Subscribe in your podcast feed. Very important and helpful if you can give us 5 stars and a nice review in your Apple podcast feed or any place that you can leave a review. Much appreciated. But otherwise, I think we are done for the day. This is the last of the December bonus episodes, so we're back to our weekly schedule as of now through the rest of the round. So that's it. Come on, we're back to once a week, and we're almost at the end of the round.
Yes. So close. I cannot wait. But I don't want it to be done too fast.
No. Oh, we got plenty of time. Don't worry. So let's get out of here for today. Thank you again, Michael, for joining us, and that's all.
Yes. Our thanks to Big Brother Boy once again for joining us. And until next time, guys, please go to the diary room.